What's up, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Design. I'm Marshall with Mukewater Outfitters. Today I'm joined by Scott Roberson with The Right Roofer. So I actually met Scott at Boom lunch. So Boom is an acronym. Actually, it stands for Businesses Operating on a Mission, and it's just Christian businessmen that meet once a month. Each month there's a speaker. They talk about their testimony and how they involve God into their businesses. So I was invited by our last guest, Lee McClure, actually, and it was very, very inspirational. I got a lot from it, and Scott was one of the very first people that introduced themselves to me, and we kind of realized we had a lot in common and became kind of good friends. So let's talk about The Right Roofer, though. That's what we're here about. So sure. We're going to dive into, go behind the designs of The Right Roofer. So tell us a little bit about what you offer.
So The Right Roofer is primarily a roofing company. We focus on residential and commercial roofing, hail restoration claims, remove and replace, repairs, things like that. We also offer a variety of construction services, primarily exterior renovations, and some interior renovation services.
Cool. Wow, so you kind of a one-stop shop, huh?
Yeah, it all falls together. Cool. It's construction.
Cool. So tell me about the name. Was there ever a wrong roofer, or?
We always joke about it. It's in our name. We try to do things right, and people, chuckle sometimes. The right roofer, huh? I was like, well, sometimes we do it wrong, but we try not to. But no, the name. When we developed this business, it came about to me. I woke up in the middle of the night one night. I got up to get a glass of water, and I was thinking about different names, and the word righteousness came to me over this business because of the things that changed in the industry. A lot more honesty and integrity has come forth in the industry, and not that there's dishonest people there, it's just some laws have changed and things like that. So the word righteous came to me, and it's just a couple people, we got together and we're thinking about it, and The Right Roofer, we started searching Google domain names and SEO marketing and things like that, and just happened to be that was available, and we couldn't believe it. So it was just righteousness, the right thing, so
awesome.
Worked
cool.
out.
I mean, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but there can be some fly-by-night people and things like that. So tell me kind of how you make sure that The Right Roofer stands out from that crowd, and how
Sure.
maybe you keep God involved.
Well, first and foremost, it's about taking care of people, right? I know along the way with other businesses that I've had that as long as you maintain doing the right and honest thing, God will bless you. And with the industry and insurance, a lot of times people don't know how to navigate some of that, and it can get, taken advantage of, or even just kind of lost in the paperwork. And for us versus a fly-by-night, and we call fly-by-nights the guys that come in, do the work, and leave, you never hear back from them, right? So for us, we're a local company, like many other good ones are. We're a mom-and-pop company. We don't have intentions to grow this company into a monster, so we can maintain quality. But the difference really is just doing things right. So if we see an issue with the integrity of a roof versus just throwing it on and getting down the road, because it is a volume business after all. So the more you can do, the more you make.
Sure.
But, there's a maintain or level of integrity, there, both with doing honest by the insurance companies, honest by the homeowners, and honest with actually the quality of work you do. We go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So,
Well, I think that says a lot, because I think, especially, when you start to see some dollar signs and it is a volume business, you could cut some corners and do some things that may, help your bottom line. But at the end of the day, the fact that you can walk away from a job knowing that you did everything the right way,
absolutely,
and you can put your stamp of approval on it, I think, that says a lot. And that's got to feel good too, to be able to have that. Makes you sleep at night,
Yeah.
So tell me about where was the idea from the business? I mean,
so one of my previous companies, I was a swimming pool builder. I had a service company as well, and when we sold out that business, a couple of my guys happened to be roofers, and they're like, well, what's next? Are we going to go do roofing? Or, it just kind of something that's always kind of set there. And then you just meeting different people and kind of figuring out what our next venture was going to be. They're like, hey, what about roofing? And in turn, like I said, some things changed in the industry, and it was just a good opportunity to get in. It really giving us a platform to help other businesses. And that's primarily one reason why I really chose roofing, is because I deal with multiple different contractors and get to meet a lot of interesting people and different trades, throughout it. And so our passion was that the next business that we were going to have, we were planning on having it long term, but is to be able to impact the workplace, with our, with ministry, in a sense. So if I can help somebody along the way, that's what this is about. So roofing just kind of gave us a platform that was diversified enough to where we could do that. So.
That's awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of very skilled, guys out there that, don't really have a direction.
Sure.
A lot of manual labor people that you could probably touch a lot of lives with that. I've never really thought about that.
It happens more often than what you think, and it's not because of us, but just situations, and it's very rewarding for sure.
Awesome. Well, that's very it's encouraging to hear that, and I mean, kind of honorable to allow yourself to be a vehicle for God to use and put you in front of the right people,
Sure.
and it says a lot. So you started the business. It was you and a group of people? I
No,
guess?
it was my wife and I.
Okay, cool.
I happened to have a couple friends of mine that were very knowledgeable in the roofing business. I had been on roofs for 17 years with the lighting company we have, and around construction. So it just kind of fell into place. It was something that I knew quite a bit about, and something that I was familiar with as far as the type of work, the industry. And then meeting those individuals, and it just kind of came to light that way. Just getting some knowledge from them and ability, and we just jumped off and took faith and went and did it. So.
That's awesome. You work on faith, but not everything is rainbows and butterflies. So tell me a little bit about some of the struggles from the startup, and maybe how you overcame those.
Sure. Well, in the past, I made with other companies, I made some decisions that. Too fast, too quick, not being patient, not listening, not understanding why God has me doing this or why God has me doing that. And there were some humbling experiences there, and that I would never trade. But with this company, we started the company in 2019, took a good leap, and we started on a rock and roll, got into February of 2020, and, like everything else, COVID hit. And that was a little bit trying. We didn't really understand navigating, door knocking, visiting with people, which in our industry is a huge portion of how we get leads, is by door knocking. And so we've tried it a couple times, and it was still new, and people didn't really like it. And then over time, it became a lot better. People got past that. But it was just a mixture of bad timing in some ways, but with that, you just have to sit back and realize that at the end of the day, even when those days you don't feel like it's going to be okay, you just have to realize it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you got this far, and it off of faith, and you got this far off of trusting people and trusting God, just that it's going to happen. And next thing you know, next door happens. Just keep diligent and keep going. So.
I read something the other day. It was kind of an inspirational quote, but it was in a business sense, and it said, "The same God that gave you, the light or the idea for the business it's the same God that will give you that next customer." It was very moving for me, because for our sister company, Mukewater Creative, I mean, there's great months and then there's slow months, and with COVID. One of the first things that go is your marketing expense, because, it's the easiest thing to cut loose. So our bread and butter was, apparel and promotional items, and those are the first things that go. So
yeah,
it got trying, but that definitely was moving for me, because it was like, you just like you said, you got here on faith, and you can't give it up now. Tell me a little bit about maybe where you see the company going. So you said you didn't want to grow it into a monster, so.
Well, previous business had quite a few moving parts, With this company, we don't want to sacrifice quality over quantity. However, it's a volume business. With this, we're going to let God take it to where he wants it to be. I don't have this viewpoint anymore of chasing dollars. And like I said, I call it, we don't look at chasing dollars, we chase faith. And, the company grows to be a substantial size, and so be it. I'm just not going to force it like I've done in the past.
Gotcha.
I think that if you look at business and trying to be biggest, the best of everything, a lot of things goes by the wayside. And in previous experiences, family goes by the wayside, your employees, and how you manage your money and how diligent you are with what God's given you. So, if it grows into one, it does. But it's just not my focus and not my viewpoint on it. We're not trying to be the biggest, best of everything,
When you decide to make that decision, or, the opportunity arises to grow, kind of take me through that process and how you make that decision.
Yeah, growth, I always call them growing pains. I think I've mentioned it to you in the past of, scaling from one-man show and taking the leap to hiring your first employee to investing more of your finances into it, maybe go into debt, which is always scary to do. It really comes down to the fact of have faith. I mean, you have to take a breath and you have to make the decision, is this healthy? And you have to analyze it from multiple different perspectives. One thing I noticed that a lot of people make mistakes in is keeping it to themselves. There's a privacy about your company that nobody really needs to know. That's because it's nobody's business.
Right.
But if you're afraid to ask questions, you're afraid to get help, you're afraid for guidance or wisdom, or just think you can do it all, like I've made mistakes in the past, I got this under control and da-da-da-da-da-da, and I can do it all, and have, the world on your shoulders and no problem. Those often end up in failures, and, you just got to be humble about it the whole way. But you got to take leaps of faith. I mean, you started it off of something, so when it comes time to scale, you'll know. But
yeah, that's really really important thing to do is to ask questions that I've learned. And
Sure.
We've had a lot of conversations, and some of the best advice that you gave me was not growing too fast, and kind of the story that you told just now. But I think it's very important for any entrepreneur in any industry to not be afraid to ask questions, and to I think the worst thing that's going to happen is, they're going to say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, but,
Right.
You can dive too deep. But there's also ways that, how did you structure your business at first? And at what point did you have to hire an accountant? Or, you're going to get probably 3 or 4 different answers, but you'll find a good judgment somewhere in there that will feel comfortable for you.
More often than not, people are willing to help. too.
Absolutely.
And if you're just willing to reach out to people, and whether it's the best advice or not, you'll know.
Right.
But it's more often than not, don't be afraid to reach out to people. They're willing to help.
That's exactly what I want this show to be. Sure. Is to be that motivation or the inspiration for somebody watching right now has a great idea, but they're scared to take that leap because they don't know. I mean, we've talked about it before, but starting an LLC sounds so scary, but it's doable, and it's these things are they seem big and scary, but they're doable, and with help. And I've done 0 of this by myself. I've asked, I have a whole group of people, and I think you may say the same thing, but I think it's important to have a group of people, and mine are probably 4 or 5 people in different industries that I can ask the same question to, and kind of gauge where I feel like I need to go based on those 4 or 5 answers. So
sure. I enjoy having different people that I talk to about certain things within my business or in my life, that I don't talk about the other things with them. That way, sometimes they don't get intertwined, and you just always seek wise counsel. You develop that with the more you reach out, Yeah,
that's good advice. The last thing is kind of, what advice would you give to that person watching that has an idea, that wants to start a company, just not sure where to start?
A lot of people ask me, like, why'd you just decide to do that? And, sometimes it's like, it's not I just decided to do that. Most of the time it was that I was just willing to do whatever it took. And sometimes it came out of desperation, and sometimes it came out of providing for my family. Others it's came out of doing something for somebody else. And so when you, and that's hard for people to understand, but when you decide that there's something that you want to do and you're just worried about taking the leap of faith or going out and actually doing it, you just have to decide you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then go make it happen. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
And people are just sometimes too scared, but what's worse going to happen to you? I mean, you go and do diligent and, and honor God, then He'll honor you back.
One of my biggest fears is missed opportunity. And I would much rather try something and fail and know that I wasn't supposed to be there or wasn't supposed to do that than to always wonder, what if I would have tried that? That's when people ask me what my biggest fear is. It is, and it comes down to like small things, like trying new foods, like how do I know if I don't like,
right.
But
get the same thing on the menu every time.
Right, but it grows, it grows up in scale, and it's the same concept. So
it really is.
That's a big advice that I've always I've taken and tried to give. The other thing, and it kind of goes right along with what you're saying, is have a why. My why is I've got big dreams, and I've got I have a big vision to help the homeless, and I can't do that with what little dollars I'm making. And so my why keeps me working a little after 5 and going back after dinner to finish up a quote or designing something or getting up at 7 o'clock Saturday morning to go set up at a farmer's market. You've got to have something that motivates you, because if you don't, the first time you hit one of those road bumps or speed bumps, roadblocks, you'll quit.
Yep.
And so, for you, it was, providing for your family or, those moments of desperation.
One of the things I want to touch on, though, is I always try not to make rash decisions. Always advice that I give to somebody if they're wanting to jump into something or they feel like they're on the edge is take time to pray about it. And then if you do take that leap, and anytime you're growing or scaling your business or no matter how big it or small your business is, maybe it's already scaled, is take time to think about decisions that might impact, your business or your attitude or something like that. And I always have like at least a 24-hour rule. If I think it's at all significant, I'm not going to make a decision right then and there. Whether it's spending money, like a new CRM software or something, I always take 24 hours minimum, and it gives time for myself to think about it, pray about it, and know the answer then. So
awesome. That's great advice. Cool. Well, that's all we have for today, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got another show I'm really excited about that's going to air soon. So make sure you check back the next episode. We're going to talk about the Fairway collection and everything that we have to offer there. So thanks for joining us. And Scott, I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Till next time. Cheers.